Today we are going to be cooking up a storm. I decided to put a video together of a week's worth of meals to give you guys some yummy ideas and inspiration for dinner this week for you guys, or next week, or for whatever, just to put away. I have been on the hunt for yummy recipes and easy recipes and recipes that don't take a huge amount of ingredients, but what I'm finding is that if you want to eat good, you gotta cook. So first thing we're going to be doing is starting off with my salsa recipe. I make salsa pretty much the same way every single time. When I have a gas stove, I char my tomatoes, my onions, my jalapenos or my serranos, and my garlic, or I boil them. Either way, when I boil them, I don't leave them on the stove too long. I let them I just bring it to a boil and then take it off the heat and let the peppers and everything sit in the hot water for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I blend them up and you end up with this beautiful salsa, and it is so good, so fresh. You can always add onions, fresh onions, and cilantro. This, I do add cilantro. I try not to add onions to it when I'm storing it because that will make it go rancid really quickly, so I only add the onions if we want them when serving. So we're going to be making a chicken enchilada casserole. You guys, this casserole is so good, and it is so good that my husband said, I think that you have found a way to make enchiladas from here on out. I've been making chicken enchiladas our whole entire marriage, and he always loves them. Our favorite way to eat them is with a fried egg on top, especially for breakfast. Matter of fact, he had that this morning for breakfast, the leftovers. But he liked it so much that he said we don't need to make them the other way anymore. I love this method because I'm not frying the tortillas. You will see that, well, you already saw that I charred them. It says in the recipe to char them over an open flame. I have an electric stove, so I use the comal just to get that, browning on them, or that char on them. And now I am putting together the sauce, which was super simple. It was onion, garlic, salt, cumin. I'm showing you the spices as I put them on. Some green chile or chile verde. I used the hatch chili. It called for chicken broth. I didn't have any, so I just put a few chicken bouillon cubes in there, a small can of diced green chilies, and you just simmer that up until it thickens, and then you add a cup of sour cream, and I used a 14.5 ounce can of pinto beans that I rinsed and drained. I'm going to toss that in there, add the chicken back in there, and that is your creamy green chili sauce. And you guys, it is so good. You have to try this recipe. I will have all of the recipes linked in the description down below for you guys from today's video. Hats off to this one. It was delicious. While I am waiting for this to bake up in the oven, it takes 20 minutes with foil on, 20 minutes with foil off. I go ahead and get all of our toppings prepared. You can top this with anything. We like to use sour cream, salsa. You can add some more cheese if you want. You can add some olives if you want. There's just a variety of things that you could add to the top of your your enchiladas. Go crazy with it. They're so good, though. You definitely have to give this one a shot. I love it so much. I have to ask you guys if you're enjoying the recipes that I'm sharing or enjoy recipe videos in general. This is something that I thought I would make a habit of doing. I have shared recipes with you guys on and off, but I wanted to give you guys lots more ideas, lots more incentives to come back and, and watch the videos. And what is a better incentive than food? I love food. I love good food. And what I'm finding is that with good food, you have to cook, and each layer is flavored. And it's interesting, but that is not how I learned how to cook growing up. I learned how to just, well, I've told you before, I learned how to just throw the dish together and season the whole dish. Where all the recipes I'm finding, you are seasoning every single layer of the dish, even down to charring the tortillas. Charring the tortillas is right up my alley. I like everything overdone and overcooked, but that adds a level of flavor to any dish, just the char flavor of the tortillas. So anyways, that's what I'm finding. But look at this casserole, you guys. I mean, it's so good. It is so delicious. I cannot even say it enough. I put it on Instagram. I tagged carlsbadcravings.com because they need to know that this was the bomb. For Ernie to say, this is how you're going to make enchiladas from now on, that's saying something. Okay, for tonight's dinner, I'm going to be making, I guess like a fajitas, because I did not want to go to the store. I wanted to see what I could make out of the pantry and the freezer. And I have this shaved beef, which I try and keep at least 1 pack in the freezer at all times because it cooks up really fast and you can make multiple things with it. Mongolian beef, beef sandwiches, anything. So tonight we're going to do fajitas. So I have that. I have the rest of a purple onion. So we're going to be cutting that up. And then I have this orange pepper that is, it's on its last leg. It's needing to be used like immediately. It's starting to shrivel, but we're going to use it. I'm not going to let that stop me. And then I have some tomatoes here and some rice. I'm going to be making some Mexican rice, some fajitas. I'm going to season the meat up, and I'll show you how I do that in a minute. And then, coming over to my pantry, I have the choice between pinto beans or black beans. So I'm not sure. I think I'll do black beans. So we'll do black beans. And that is going to be dinner. I did not go to the store, so I don't have tortillas. I mentioned to Ernie I don't have tortillas. I had these. There's only like, I don't know. Well, there might be enough here. Nope, I can't use these. They're starting to get moldy. So these are trash. So Ernie might stop. I don't need tortillas, but he might stop and pick some up because, I'm fine with a fajita bowl, but he might want to have fajitas, or a tortilla. But anyways, so I did not have to go to the store. I had all of this on hand. We are going to make a meal out of this. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I want to get started on is my broth for my chicken, or for my rice, my Mexican rice. So I just put 2 tomatoes, half of a small onion that I had sitting here on the counter, and 2 cloves of garlic, and we're just going to bring that to a boil. And once it starts boiling, I'm going to take it off the heat and let it sit while I prepare the rest of the stuff. So let's get the meat going. Okay, this has come to a boil, so we're going to take it off the heat and just let it sit there. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for now. Okay, these guys are ready, so we're just going to put them in the blender. I'm going to get my garlic out of here. I normally use the powdered chicken bouillon, but all I have are these. So I'm going to go ahead and use these up. I'm going to put 3 in here. Maybe a little more water. That's perfect. Okay, I have my pan here heating up on high. I'm going to add some avocado oil to it. When I make Mexican rice, I do the 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to do 2 cups of the rice. And we just want to brown this, so you want it to be like a toasty color. It's got like a toasty, I don't know, like brown. This is a step that that a lot of Mexican restaurants skip. My husband and I will go in and eat the rice and we'll be like, ugh, like they didn't toast it first, and they used ketchup or just plain tomato sauce. No. So let me give you a suggestion on making the perfect Mexican rice. So always use the 2-to-1 ratio for the rice and for the broth. For your broth, always use fresh tomatoes and season it and taste this before you put it in your rice. If this tastes delicious, that is what your rice is going to taste like. So fresh tomatoes, garlic, onion, always the basis to a good Mexican rice. You can add cilantro to this. You can add whatever you want. But the secret ingredient is celery. So I'm going to toss the celery in after I get this browned and put the sauce in. I'll toss the celery in, cover it, and let it simmer until all the liquid is absorbed. And I'm going to add in 4 cups of my liquid. 1, ooh, that was hot. 2, 3, and 4. There's a little bit left, so just go ahead and dump that in. So that was perfect. Stir that around. Okay, I've moved the rice over to the other burner to continue to steam. Now we're gonna go ahead and turn our attention to the meat and get that all prepped. Again, I'm gonna use a little bit of avocado oil in the bottom of the pan. Whoa. Okay, that's too much. Please hold. That's better. The little tab came out. Okay, start putting that in. I'm going to separate it as much as I can. I had some lettuce in the fridge. So I'm going to go ahead and get this chopped up so we could do like a, kind of like a lettuce bowl, fajita bowl, I guess. So we're going to do that while we wait for the meat to brown up so we can add in the veggies. I'll let that sit there and soak until I'm ready to serve. I'm going to add a little bit more of the chipotle roasted garlic. This is by McCormick, their Grill Mates. And then I'm going to take the juice from half of a lime. Fajitas are done, rice is done, the beans are warming up. Now we gotta get, I just finished spinning this. Now I'm going to cut up a tomato to add to our bowls. Tonight's dinner is going to be super simple. I don't even really feel like I need to share it with you, but I'm going to do that because I'm sharing what we ate in a week, and this is what we ate. It's just chicken and pasta with a pesto sauce because I had all of it. I had defrosted some chicken and had not used it and needed to. And then I had leftover pesto from a recipe the week prior, and I didn't want that to go bad, and I had some pasta, so I figured let me just toss that together for an easy weeknight dinner since I had all of the ingredients. The only thing I did not put in, and I meant to put in at the very end, were some fresh cherry tomatoes. I have those in the fridge, and I want to start using them up, and totally forgot on this evening, but that's what I typically would toss in with this dish, is some fresh tomatoes at the very end. They don't cook, they just get like a little heated through. And then Parmesan cheese, salt, pepper, red chili flakes, whatever you choose, you do you. But I wanted something simple, and sometimes I do this. I make a simple pasta or just something really simple during the week so that all my other recipes that have so many different steps that go with them, are more manageable if I don't have to do that every single night of the week. And you'll see that with the next two meals are pretty darn easy. I also did not do a vegetarian dish this week, which I like to do vegetarian dishes. I'm not a big meat eater. I mean, I'll eat it, but Ernie has to have meat. He doesn't complain if I don't make meat, but or a dish that has meat in it, but he would prefer to have meat. So really simple. I'm just going to fry up this chicken with some salt and some pepper, and I have the water boiling for the pasta, and when that's all done, I'm just going to toss it all together. There wasn't quite enough pesto to really coat everything the way that I wanted, so what I did was just add some olive oil, and that's a tip that I have for you, is just add some olive oil at the end, and that just kind of livens it back up again. I add salt and oil to my boiling water. This is something my mom used to do growing up, so your pasta gets flavored with the salt and your noodles don't stick together because of the oil. So very simple dish, delicious, great for any night of the week. It literally came together in like 10 minutes or however long it took to cook those small pieces of chicken and boil this pasta. It came together that quickly. So highly recommend if you are looking for an easy weeknight dinner and you just have not thought of pesto lately. I do that sometimes. Sometimes, I cook a lot. I cook a lot of different dishes, and sometimes dishes go by and or go by what am I trying to say here? Sometimes I forget that I'm making that I know how to make certain things, and I just forget about them and I don't make them. And then Ernie will say, hey, what about this, or hey, what about that, and so anyways, so this is one of those dishes. I just never think of something super simple. I always think I have to get really crazy in the kitchen all the time, but I try and do at least one, like I said, one simple, really super simple, delicious meal during the week, or two. I come from a mom who went through World War II, the Great Depression, and my mother-in-law as well. And so I've learned over the years to not waste anything. So I just added a little chicken broth to the pesto container just to make sure I got it all out and added that into the pasta. Isn't it the easiest dish ever to make? I mean, you add a little protein or not, and literally the easiest dish. Top it with some parm, some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, and you got yourself, oh, and tomatoes, which I didn't add, I forgot. And you've got yourself a delicious weeknight dinner, you guys. I mean, the kids are going to love it. Kids love pasta. I don't know what kid doesn't. I hope you guys are enjoying this so far. I've never done a what we've eaten for dinner in a week before, and I thought that it would be really fun and different, so I'm gonna do it and see how it does, just to share with you guys maybe some inspiration for some meal ideas. I know that I have an audience that is my age, older, and some a little younger, so y'all know how to cook and what's for dinner and all that, but I like to watch what people eat for dinner. I just think that it's fun and it does inspire me. It gives me some different ideas. Everybody cooks differently, but this week I just wanted to do some simple meals like I mentioned in the video. And so tonight, I've been craving hamburgers ever since the 4th of July, so that is what I'm making. I'm making a simple cheeseburger and some frozen sweet potato fries for dinner, and that is what we are going to have. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I prepare that and what I'm using to prepare that today. So I'm going to be using the brisket and chuck roast. I mean, it's a butcher's trio, so they should be really good. And then this Weber cowboy seasoning. Ernie used this on the 4th of July and they were so good. Although he mixed this in with the meat, I'm just going to be putting it on both sides and frying them up. I picked these up. I thought they were interesting. I like the brown bread from Cheesecake Factory, so I went ahead and picked these up because they look just like it. It says old-fashioned brown bread hamburger buns. I've never used those before, so we'll see how that comes out. And then we're going to do the typical tomatoes, onions, lettuce, or actually we're doing spinach, and I bought avocado. So I just started preheating the oven so that we can get the sweet potato fries in. These are the sweet potato fries that I'm going to be using. They're so good. And then for dessert, I picked one of these, or Ernie actually picked these up the other day. We have not dug into them yet. There is one that is butter pecan, so good. And then he picked this one up for me. Peanut butter fudge. Oh my gosh, so good. So this up to put on the burgers. My bun, so I'm going to put that in the oven for a minute. Okay guys, we are on our fifth and final meal. It is Thursday. We go out to eat on Fridays, so this is the last meal of the video. Tonight I'm making chicken piccata, my version. The only thing that I do not have is flour in my pantry, which I normally would just coat these in some flour and fry them, but we don't have any, so we're not going to be doing that. So just know that is a step that I normally do that I won't be doing today. But you're going to need some thin sliced chicken breast, Italian parsley, butter, a lemon, some capers, some chicken broth, low sodium, salt, pepper, and then I usually will serve this with pasta or mashed potatoes. So I'm going to be making some mashed potatoes as well to go with this. This comes together so fast, you guys, and it is delicious. Everybody that I know has said they've never been able to find chicken piccata the way I make it at any restaurant, and I'm not bragging, but I Have to agree. When you use fresh ingredients or simple ingredients to make a dish, sometimes it tastes better when you go too deep into the rabbit hole with the recipe. So anyways, let's get started. I learned how to make this recipe years ago from Everyday Italian on the Food Network with Giada, and I have been making it ever since, and it is a family favorite. So the first thing we are going to do is get my mashed potatoes started. I want to get those boiling on the stove. It's always the first thing you do when you're making mashed potatoes because you never know how long these electric stoves are going to take. Anyways, now we're going to go ahead and make the sauce for the chicken piccata. It's really very simple. You just put your chicken broth in the container and then squeeze the juice of half of 1 lemon. And then we love capers, so I add the whole jar of capers after I have drained and rinsed them. And then we're going to season up our chicken with salt and pepper. This would be the point that I would typically drench them in flour, shake off the excess flour afterwards, after I seasoned them with salt and pepper. And then I would add them to the pan coated. And so we're going to melt a little bit of butter and some avocado oil and get these fried up to a nice color on either side. The color is important and it adds flavor to the bottom of the pan as well. So you want to make sure that you get that browning on the pan and on the chicken. And then add a little bit more butter, don't burn yourself, and then go ahead and add the sauce in. And because I didn't use flour, which typically thickens up the sauce on its own, I just put some cornstarch and some water and whisk that in to thicken it up a little bit. I think I used about 2 teaspoons, maybe a tablespoon, I'm not really sure. And just whisk that in so that, the gravy thickens up. And while that was thickening up, I went ahead and cut up the parsley, which is we're going to use as a dressing. Went ahead and added the chicken into the sauce. And while that is cooking through, because it's not done when you brown it, it's going to finish cooking in the sauce, we're going to go ahead and make the mashed potatoes. Do you guys mash your potatoes or do you whip them? I've always mashed them. Anyways, we're going to go ahead and get those done. And once that's done, the chicken is done, the sauce is the perfect consistency, and we're going to go ahead and plate this up. And you guys, you have to try this. Simple, easy, beautiful, and delicious. I hope that you guys enjoyed this series. Let me know in the comments if it's something that you guys want me to do on a regular basis, and I will make sure to do that maybe once a month. Anyways, I hope you guys are well, and we will see you guys in the next video. Bye!